Stop everything you are doing right now and look at your screen. Because the polished, glamorous image of Hollywood you've been sold just went up in flames. We have all seen the red carpets, the high-fashion Instagram posts, and the perfectly curated smiles of Teyana Taylor. But tonight, the mask has been ripped off in the most violent way imaginable. We have obtained exclusive, leaked hospital audio and trauma ward footage that is currently sending a nuclear shockwave through every major studio and record label in the industry. These are not just rumors. These are not just blind items. These are high-definition, clinical proofs of a struggle so brutal that insiders are calling it a miracle she's even standing. The bandages, the hematomas, and the look of pure, paralyzing terror in her eyes tell a story that certain powerful people have spent millions trying to bury. But the truth has a way of bleeding through the cracks. As Teyana was being rushed into the ICU, fighting for her final breath, she reached out, gripped a paramedic's arm with a death grip, and screamed one final, desperate warning. Don't let him escape. You think you know who she was talking about? You think you know what happened behind those multi-million-dollar doors? You have no idea. This isn't just a celebrity fight anymore. This is a crime scene. Don't move an inch, because what I'm about to reveal next changes everything we thought we knew about Teyana's perfect life. We aren't just talking about a fallout. We are talking about a total industry collapse that starts right now. To understand how we ended up looking at blood-stained hospital sheets and emergency room monitors, we have to peel back the layers of a Hollywood facade that was designed to deceive us from day one. Teyana Taylor has always been portrayed as the ultimate survivor, a fierce, independent powerhouse who successfully navigated a messy, high-profile divorce and came out on top. But behind the independent woman anthems and the flawless red carpet appearances, a dark storm was brewing, and the catalyst for this explosion has a name: Pierre. When Pierre first entered Teyana's life, the industry hailed it as the rebirth of a queen. He was the rising star, the sophisticated talent, the man who was supposed to be the calm after Teyana's storm. But sources close to the production of their recent projects are now breaking their silence, and the picture they're painting is chilling. This wasn't a romance, it was a power struggle. From the very beginning, there were whispers of a possessive energy that Aaron brought onto every set they shared. Insiders claim that behind the scenes, Aaron was allegedly obsessed with Teyana's influence, her connections, and her wealth, creating a dynamic that was less about love and more about a strategic takeover of her brand. The history between these two is littered with accidents and misunderstandings that the mainstream media was paid to ignore. Do you remember 3 months ago when Teyana abruptly canceled her European tour dates citing physical exhaustion? Our sources are now revealing that exhaustion was a code word for a secret medical visit following a heated confrontation in a London hotel suite. There were reports of a destroyed room and a valet who was paid 5 figures to keep his mouth shut about the screams he heard coming from the penthouse. The pattern was there. The warnings were flashing in bright red, but the Hollywood machine is designed to protect its investments, and at that moment, Teyana and Aaron were the industry's most profitable couple. Teyana was emotionally vulnerable after her split from Iman Shumpert. She was looking for a protector, but insiders claim she found a predator. Pierre's background is shrouded in mystery, but leaked emails from his former management team suggest a history of temperament issues that were carefully scrubbed from his public bio. There was a long-standing rivalry between Aaron and Teyana's inner circle, specifically her mother and her longtime security team. They saw the red flags. They saw the way Aaron allegedly isolated her, slowly taking control of her schedule, her phone, and eventually her movements. This drama was inevitable. It was a pressure cooker with a locked lid. Teyana was trying to maintain the image of a woman who had it all: the kids, the career, and the new man, while Aaron was reportedly spiraling into a pit of jealousy over Teyana's deep-rooted connection to her ex-husband. Sources say Aaron was infuriated by the fact that Teyana and Iman remained in constant contact, viewing Iman as a threat to his total dominance. This wasn't just jealousy. It was a calculated campaign to erase Teyana's past so Aaron could own her future. The calm of last Tuesday night didn't just break, it was detonated. According to a series of frantic, leaked audio logs from the building's high-security concierge, the peace of the midnight hour was shattered by a sound that one witness described as heavy furniture being used as a battering ram. We are talking about Teyana's private sanctuary, a multi-million-dollar penthouse, transformed into a literal slaughterhouse of shattered glass, torn high-end fashion, and broken dreams. Sources close to the investigation have leaked the first-hand account of what happened in that living room. Teyana had reportedly confronted Aaron with a set of documents, not financial ones this time, but private investigator reports. She had found out that Aaron wasn't just possessive, he was allegedly working in tandem with a rival media conglomerate to gather dirt on Teyana's entire estate to use as leverage in a hostile buyout of her brand. The betrayal wasn't just in the heart, it was a total assassination of her life's work. When she told him she was calling her lawyers and ending it all, the switch flipped. The refined Pierre disappeared, and the monster took over. The scene was described as something out of a horror movie. Blood was found on the marble countertops of the kitchen, indicating that the fight had moved from the living area into the private quarters. A leaked photo of the living room, briefly posted by a rogue forensic tech, showed a massive, shattered vanity mirror and a trail of torn clothing that looked like it had been ripped off Teyana as she tried to escape. She wasn't just fighting for her dignity, she was fighting for her breath. One first responder said he had seen domestic calls for 20 years, but he had never seen a room that radiated this much targeted malice. But here is where the story takes a turn that no one saw coming. As Teyana was being cornered in the master suite, she managed to activate a silent distress signal. Everyone assumed that signal went to her private security firm or the LAPD. But the digital logs tell a completely different story. That signal went to a private, encrypted device located 6 miles away in a high-security villa. 10 minutes later, a blacked-out SUV screeched to a halt in front of the building. A man exited, bypassed the security desk with a level of authority that left the staff paralyzed, and kicked in the door to the penthouse. It was Amon Shumpert. The man Teyana had spent months distancing herself from was the only one she trusted with her life in that final, desperate moment. But the twist isn't just that Amon was there. When he entered the room, he didn't find Aaron hovering over Teyana. He found Teyana locked in a walk-in closet, bleeding out, and Aaron was sitting calmly on the sofa, scrolling through Teyana's laptop, erasing files while she was suffering just a few feet away. He looked up at Amon and allegedly said, "You're too late. I've already won." The first major twist. As the paramedics rushed Teyana to the hospital, she wasn't looking at Aaron. She was pointing at the balcony. She used her final ounce of strength to scream, "Don't let him escape." But she wasn't talking about Pierre. Amon looked out the window just in time to see a third figure, a professional handler, rappelling down the side of the building with a small black bag. Pierre wasn't the attacker. He was the distraction. He stayed behind to take the fall and erase the digital footprint while the real prize, Teyana's encrypted master drive, was carried out of the building. The man sitting on the sofa was just a pawn. The real predator was already miles away with Teyana's entire legacy in his hands. The darkness didn't stop at the penthouse doors. It followed Teyana Taylor right into the sterile, white halls of the intensive care unit. As the sun began to rise on Wednesday morning, the escalation reached a fever pitch that threatened to burn all of Hollywood to the ground. This wasn't just a celebrity news cycle anymore. It was a digital war. While Teyana lay unconscious in a private wing under an assumed name, the narrative was being hijacked by powerful forces behind the scenes. The escalation started on social media. Within hours of the fight, a series of mysterious leaks began appearing on a high-traffic gossip forum. These weren't just rumors. They were high-resolution, time-stamped photos of Teyana's medical intake forms. But look closely at the clinical data on those forms. The second unexpected twist, Teyana wasn't just admitted for physical trauma. The leaked blood work results, verified by a hospital insider, show a lethal concentration of a synthetic neurosedative that is almost impossible to detect in a standard screening. Teyana wasn't just fighting back. She was reportedly being chemically subdued before the fight even began. Pierre didn't just want a physical win. He wanted her silenced, permanently. As this revelation hit the internet, the controversy spread like a high-speed virus. Fake Twitter threads, orchestrated by what appeared to be high-level bot farms, started flooding the platform with the hashtag Teyana is dangerous. These threads tried to claim that the sedative was self-administered, painting Teyana as a woman on the brink of a self-imposed spiral. But the industry backlash was immediate and fierce. The A-list began turning on itself. Nicki Minaj reportedly went on a private rant in an encrypted celebrity group chat, saying, "We all know what's happening. They're trying to Cassie her. They're trying to bury the truth under a medical gown." Then came the shocking reveal that changed everything. While the world was focused on the fight, a rogue hacker group dropped a bombshell file labeled the Pierre Protocols. It turns out, Pierre wasn't just a possessive boyfriend. He was allegedly part of a reputation management task force hired by a mysterious third party to ensure Teyana Taylor never testified in a high-profile federal investigation involving a certain music mogul we all know. The fight in the penthouse wasn't about jealousy, it was a botched extraction. Aaron was allegedly trying to steal the encrypted drive that Teyana had hidden, a drive that contains the master list of every celebrity who attended the infamous White Room parties. The industry response was a total blackout. Suddenly, major news outlets that usually jump on every Teyana Taylor story went dead silent. Sources say that kill orders were sent to every major PR firm in New York and LA. But you can't stop the truth once it starts to bleed. If you look at the leaked photo of Teyana's neck, you can see faint, circular marks, not from hands, but from a medical-grade injection site. The shocking reveal is that the fight didn't start because of a burner phone. It started because Teyana realized Aaron was trying to reset her memory using experimental neurosedatives. But here is the cliffhanger that has everyone looking over their shoulder. A nurse from the trauma unit has just gone missing. The same nurse who allegedly leaked the first set of photos has vanished from her shift. Her locker was found emptied, and her car was discovered abandoned in the hospital parking lot with the door wide open. The stakes have just jumped from a celebrity scandal to a potential multiple felony conspiracy. This raises a new, terrifying question. Is Teyana Taylor safe inside that hospital? Or is she currently being held in a medical prison while the industry decides how to rewrite her ending? The MRI results hint at something even more sinister, a tracker. How long has she been monitored? And whose name on that master list was so valuable they were willing to kill for it? The moment those clinical hospital photos hit the mainstream, the internet didn't just break. It underwent a total systemic collapse. We're talking about a level of public fury that hasn't been seen in the history of social media. The hashtag Justice for Teyana reached over 50 million mentions in less than 6 hours, but the reaction isn't just sadness. It is pure, unadulterated rage. Fans aren't just tweeting anymore. They are becoming digital detectives, cross-referencing every pixel of those leaked hospital images with the blueprints of the penthouse. The public is now divided into two warring factions. On one side, the Teyana truthers, who believe she was targeted by an industry hit squad to protect the music mogul mentioned in the Pierre Protocols. On the other, the Pierre apologists, a small but suspicious group of accounts, likely paid bots, claiming the photos are AI-generated or part of a theatrical makeup test for a future role. The comment sections have become digital courtrooms where strangers are arguing over the biological weight of the bruising and the clinical validity of the sedative reports. But the real fire is burning within the industry itself. While the public is arguing, the A-list is in a state of absolute, paralyzed panic. We've obtained a leaked transcript from an emergency Zoom call involving some of the biggest talent agents in Hollywood. The vibe wasn't one of concern for Teyana. It was a strategy session on how to contain the leak. One high-level executive was caught saying, "If those toxicology reports go federal, we're all going to be looking at depositions." This is the industry reaction no one wants you to know about. The desperate attempt to distance themselves from the radioactive fallout of Pierre's actions. The celebrity responses have been chillingly split. While stars like Beyoncé and Rihanna have reportedly sent private security teams to stand guard at Teyana's hospital wing, others have gone dead silent. That silence is deafening. Why are the power couples of Hollywood suddenly deleting their photos with Aaron? Why are the directors who called him a prodigy last week now acting like they've never heard his name? It's because the division is no longer about a fight. It's about a code of silence. A famous female rapper reportedly posted a cryptic message on her close friend's story. The hospital photos are just the beginning. The documents in that laptop are the real death sentence. The industry backlash against Aaron Pierre has been swift but suspicious. Every brand he was associated with has scrubbed his image, but none of them have released a statement condemning the violence. It's a quiet cancellation. They want him to disappear into the wind before he starts talking about who gave him the sedative in the first place. But the statement that has really sent the controversy into overdrive came from an anonymous insider claiming to be Teyana's private nurse. She posted, "The public is worried about the fight. They should be worried about the visitors. People are coming into this room at 4 a.m. with legal documents, not flowers." Is Teyana Taylor being pressured into a silent settlement while she's still on heavy pain medication? The industry isn't just reacting, it's vibrating with fear. And the final industry reaction? A major awards show has reportedly removed Teyana's scheduled tribute, fearing that her controversial status will scare off sponsors. You are either with the survivor, or you are part of the cover-up. As the digital clock in the ICU continues to tick, we have reached the moment where the entire foundation of this story collapses. You've seen the photos, you've heard about the sedative, and you've felt the weight of the betrayal. But there is one final, shocking revelation that changes the motive, the players, and the very nature of what happened in that penthouse. Our investigative team has just cross-referenced the unidentified DNA report with a leaked manifest from a private jet that landed at Van Nuys Airport just 30 minutes before the first blow was landed. And the name on that manifest isn't Aaron Pierre. It isn't Iman Shumpert. It is a name that has remained untouched by scandal for 3 decades, a titan of the industry who is supposedly Teyana's mentor. The final shocking twist: the fight wasn't just a domestic dispute. The leaked hospital photos, if you look at the reflections in the medical monitors, show a third figure standing in the corner of the trauma ward, a figure that the hospital staff was allegedly ordered to ignore. Sources are now whispering that Aaron Pierre was never the mastermind.
He was the fall guy.
The real confrontation was about a slave contract hidden inside a shell company. Teyana wasn't just fighting for her life. She was fighting for her freedom from an elite circle that owns her entire legacy. But here is the cliffhanger that is going to keep you awake tonight. While the world is waiting for Teyana to wake up and tell her story, a leaked internal memo from the hospital's ethics committee suggests that Teyana Taylor isn't in a natural coma. The report hints that her recovery is being artificially delayed. They aren't waiting for her to heal. They are waiting for a deepfake AI project to finish so they can release a statement from Teyana, using her own likeness, denying the fight ever happened. And the part that will make your blood run cold? Teyana's children have disappeared. Under the label of protective custody, the kids were moved by a private security firm linked to the same conglomerate Aaron Pierre allegedly works for. This isn't protection. It's hostage logic. The industry is using those children as a silent gun to Teyana's head. Speak, and you'll never see them again. We have just received a cryptic notification from a source known only as The Guardian. It's a 5-second audio clip of Teyana's voice, sounding weak but determined, saying, "If I don't wake up by Friday, look at the credits of my last video. The names are all there." The countdown has begun. Teyana has 72 hours before the AI takes over her voice. We are working around the clock to decode those names. Stay tuned, because the next update isn't just a story. It's a confession that will take down every titan in the business. The real fight has only just begun. We are running out of time. This is no longer just a video. This is a digital resistance. Teyana Taylor has exactly 72 hours before that AI statement is released and the truth is buried under a layer of computer-generated lies. The Pierre protocols, the hostage situation, and the industry's web of silence can only survive if we look away. But we are not looking away. We are watching every move they make. We need you to help us break the silence. Every comment, Every like and every share is a crack in the industry's wall of containment. I need you to flood the comments right now with your theories. Do you believe Teyana is being held in a medical prison, or is the AI already running her life? And who is the untouchable titan on that flight manifest? Your comments are what keep this story alive when the big networks are being paid to stay silent. Hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications right now. We are working around the clock with The Guardian to decode the final names hidden in those music video credits. If we get the decryption finished, the next update will be the final nail in the coffin for the industry's elite. But you have to be here to see it before it gets pulled by a federal kill order. Share this video on every platform: Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Let them know that we know. The Friday deadline is approaching, and Teyana's legacy is on the line. Are you ready to see the names that Hollywood is willing to kill for? Don't let her last words, don't let him escape, be in vain. Stay alert, stay loud, and stay right here. We will see you in the next explosive update, if they haven't silenced us by then. The countdown starts now.